I'm Julie Hyman along with Adam Shapiro. Well, the National Women's Soccer League Challenge Cup begins this weekend in Utah, but a number of soccer stars will not be participating because of coronavirus health concerns. Two of those who opted out are World Cup champions, Portland Thorns midfielder Tobin Heath and Utah Royals forward Christen. I spoke with both of them earlier today about what measures would need to be taken to make them feel safe enough to get back on the field.
I think what will make me feel comfortable is a bit more time and a bit more information on the state of the world and health and long-term effects. So I think I'm, just thinking that it's important in this moment to prioritize public health and safety. And I felt it was really important to stand strongly by that. Through this time, and I think only more time and more information effort. And I think until I have that, I think it's in the best interest of society to just be protecting public health and safety and staying home.
I want to ask you also about the equal pay issue, because in May, of course, there was a ruling on the lawsuit regarding equal pay for women's soccer, and the judge dismissed portions of that lawsuit. I know portions of it are still ongoing. So I wanted to ask you all about sort of next steps there and that going on in the background as all of these questions about when sports is going to resume is going on in the foreground. Tobin, why don't you take this one first?
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. Especially for us. A lot happened during this time of COVID for our lawsuit. I think for us, this has always been a long fight. We got a ruling that we didn't necessarily like, but for us, we always knew that we were in it for the long haul. So for us, we were just buckling down and continuing on our fight, and we understand the path that we need to take and what we need to do. And it's an ongoing fight, not just outwardly, but inwardly as well. The team has always been committed to this change, to equal pay, to representing something so much bigger than ourselves. So in that regard, we're in it for the long haul.
Christen, I would also ask, since that is also ongoing during this time of quarantine and time of coronavirus, has it been any tougher to sort of organize and push forward? Or I guess you do what everybody has been doing. You have meetings like this that are remote and you still kind of come together and figure out what to do next.
Yeah, I think, when we join the national team, each of us, you're kind of passed a torch, and you don't really realize that is what it means to play on the national team, to also be an advocate for gender equity, until you're there. And when you're past that torch, the people before you carried it as far as they could, and they give you that responsibility to keep climbing. And it is made abundantly clear that it's not going to be easy. So setbacks like the ruling or not being able to have in-person meetings are really, really small in the grand scheme of things for us. And I feel really confident in the success of gender pay equity moving forward, and as it pertains to our team and our lawsuit, because there's no group better prepared for a long and hard fight than the U.S. Women's National Team. And we spend a lot of time, together and then apart. So the apart part has always been there for us. So we made relationships, via phone and Zoom. We, power our players association on Zoom calls all the time. So, and honestly, and we train individually a lot. A lot of our season is off season. So I think in that regard, we're really well equipped for this moment.
Gotcha. Well, that is actually a good segue to our next topic, because when you talk about passing the torch, you all with two other of your teammates have started a lifestyle brand called Re-Inc. And you're also participating in Stacy's Pita Chips Rise project, which is about mentoring female entrepreneurs, so hence passing the torch in that way. And Stacy's did a study that is centered around this that said 62% of current female entrepreneurs say they often feel burnt out. So I'm curious, especially as people who are doing this almost as a side hustle. I think a lot of female entrepreneurs start their businesses as a side hustle, especially given that. How do you avoid burnout? What kind of advice do you all expect to give them on that front?
That's actually a tough question for me because I'm more of the energizer bunny. Like, I have so much life and so much discipline in and dedication to what I'm doing. I feel like I personally am really lucky because I love both my jobs and I love the way I spend my day. It's a joy and a pleasure to be training. And I don't think I would be a good CEO or a good businesswoman if I wasn't training for a couple hours each day and getting out all my energy, and vice versa.
And Tobin, I know that you are the sort of creative director at Reinc, right, doing the design. Are there any sort of takeaways or lessons that you have learned since you all started this that you then also expect to pass on to the people that you're mentoring?
Yeah, I always say I have the best job in the company. I get to storytell and I get to create, which is one of my favorite things. I guess kind of referring back to your last question, I think my advice would really be to keep going even when it's hard. I always say, like, when things are hard in life, that's when you know that you're going the right way. And I think particularly for women in business, it's going to be very challenging and very difficult. And that's why I love the Stacy's Rise project, because it's giving women the mentorship that they need. It's giving them some financial help. It's giving them a community and role models and people that are trying to be successful in business as well. And I think that's really powerful. I think it's really powerful having a team and support. I think too often when you're starting a company, you feel alone. You feel like you have all these questions and no one to answer them. So this really aligned with what we're doing at Reinc, and it's something that we're passionate about. It's not about just giving back, but it's about giving forward. And we're seeing this with this project, and it's exciting how much it's grown from last year to this year. And with all the participants, it's really something that's true to kind of what we do on the field, but also off the field with Reinc.
Getting back to work and also the other work that they are doing right now amidst coronavirus. They're founders of the Reinc lifestyle brand as well. We'll be right back with the latest in markets.